south of the Metro Des Moines area, in the beautiful rolling hills of southern Iowa, sits Butcher Crick Farm. This little, locally focused tomato farm is a business that Jenny Smith started and has grown with a lot of love and hard work. She raises the crops and sells them direct to customers at the downtown farmers market and also direct to restaurants in the area.
Hello, hello!
Hello, how are you today?
It's getting a little bit warm, but I'm doing good. How are you doing, Margie?
Good.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We arrived just in time to follow Jenny to the field as she harvested her beautiful varieties of heirloom tomatoes.
So, the coveted crop, we have ground cherries. That's a prime one, okay? So it's part of the gooseberry family. They sell them in catalogs like you would a tomatillo because they have a husk on them, but they're not. They're actually part of the gooseberry family. So they're tiny little berry.
Try to eat it?
Yeah.
It's almost like buttery or something too.
It's kind of creamy.
Yeah.
Almost with the tiny seeds inside of it. Yeah. So it's kind
I
of.
thought it was going to taste like a tomato.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a cantaloupe, strawberry, tomatoey. Grape. Yes. Yes.
Brown.
The risk is the picking and harvesting. So they're really easy to grow. You stick them down. You see that I got the plastic? So the theory behind it. So we come through and we kind of give the plants a little bit of a shake. And then you get down and you swoop with your arms, kind of create yourself a little pile, and then pick out the good ones. Pick out the good ones, you put them in your basket, and then you sweep out the olds. So I work full time and I love what I do, and more importantly, I love who I work for, and so I invest a lot of time with them. But I still have this tomato farm that I knew I couldn't just stop. Oh, so every day when we pick, we have what we call the pick of the day. So then, you know, like this is a candidate.
That might be the pick of the day.
That is the candidate.
Is this a pumpkin?
Kind of. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It's not a pumpkin, it's a tomato.
It's not just about the tomatoes. You know, my biggest issue that I have with food is not what we grow, but what we throw away. That's so disheartening to be able to see that. Consumers are going to look at this and they're going to say, oh, that's a good tomato. I might have to talk them through the white ones to say, the shoulders, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's all right without that one.
Yeah.
So orange blossoms for commercial production, fantastic, and they taste good too.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we have the heirlooms is they taste good. I always bring to farmers market a green tomato. And so when I sit there at farmers market, I tell them, I always say, okay, so tomatoes, when we go buy them, we're picked like this. And then I take it on the table and I go, we pick them like this because when we go to the store, myself included, I'm not gonna buy the tomato with a crack in it, a hole, something that's oozing. And there is no way that with the consumption of tomatoes in the world that we can pick them when they're ripe. It doesn't work that way. So we take them and we pick them when they're mature but not ripe. Mature meaning that it's hit its final stage of maturity. And then we put ethylene gas on them. And then we gas them so that then they can be ripe and beautiful when they're at the store.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they take and they gas them. They take them on the 18-mealers, we gas them, and then we make it so that they're beautiful and that they're ripe, and so that the consumer will say, yes, that in my eye looks like a tomato that is good. Yeah, which isn't a bad thing per se to some people, and it's an awful thing to others. It depends on what side of the road you're on, you know. I come from the side of the road that spent a lot of time overseas. And there's a lot of people in this world besides us. The inherent characteristic of a tomato plant is to crawl. That's how they go. Just like the tomatillos I talked to you about, is that they're gonna seed themselves down. So the point of a tomato is this is reproductive stage. So the plant is no longer in vegetative stage, it's in reproductive stage. So it's producing kids, and then the kids, to produce more kids, they sit down on the ground. That's why the skins are soft, they rot, and then they produce more plants. So at home gardeners need to trim and remove the bottom foliage because all that it's doing down here is creating an opportunity for disease. So that I'm giving the plant more energy to focus on what it should be doing, which is creating more babies and putting the energy into developing the fruit. Heirlooms are not bred to be symmetrical or resistant, okay? Which is good for some people, not good for others. We can't feed the world on heirloom tomatoes. No. That's unfortunate, you know? So something like this, beautiful tomato, I would just slice the bottom off and you got lots of left. So we'd call that a second. I call them sexy seconds to try to market them as, you know, they're lovely, they're beautiful. Now we have the tomato. Now everybody wants to stick that on the counter. Now if you're gonna stick it on the counter, as we do, because we never put tomatoes in the fridge, you stick it like this. Because this is the softest part of the fruit. It's what ripens first. I'm like, okay, here might be a good example. Not really.
Is that because the plant wants to reseed itself so it falls down on the ground, it's soft, it decomposes quickly?
Actually, I think that you might be onto something. I was listening. Good. Good on you. So the softest part of the tomato is down here. The hardest part, which has ripened last, is on its shoulders. So if you're going to store a tomato, my gut would tell me store it on the hard part, not the soft. And it's tough because we all want to like put this beautiful piece of fruit on display. We'll do it when the guests are over, and then when they're gone, flip them back over. Yeah.
So she's picking these for use at a restaurant here in Des Moines, and they're going to actually have a tomato dinner. So they're going to use all these beautiful tomatoes, cut them up, and every course in the dinner is going to be focused on one of these.
Rezio Mate, okay, it's an Italian heirloom, and clustery like tomato. This is one of the better ones. So these are showstoppers for farmers market. This is what I put out, and people just walk by and they're like, what is that? Yeah. It's actually bait. The flavor is not my favorite. Super acidic, not bad in terms of flavor, but it's bait for people. Yes, it's the look. Everybody looks at that and they think, oh, it's so cool, you know. So now typically when they grow,
do you like pull it apart when you eat it instead of cut it?
Yes. Now some of them are geared that way. That one's kind of tough. This one might be a little bit better. You know, so they've got different, yeah, there we go. And you can pick them, peel them, yes.
You kind of have cherry tomatoes.
Yes, and yes, so, and this one would be beautiful, you know, if you have, let's see if I can pull this off.
Okay. Ooh, look at that.
Yep, kind of hide that piece.
Beautiful.
So when you do it with a real, like a serrated knife, make it nice and clean, put that on the plate, oh, it's beautiful, looks like flowers. So they do really well. Let's grab Sean a couple of those because he actually might do some of that with them. Beautiful. I mean, that's just gorgeous.
It is.
Oh, come on, Rain.
Is
it coming? Get your radar out.
I'm getting the radar out. It's kind of looking like it's, I was like, oh no, we'll be fine. It's north, but.
Good luck on signal out here too.
I got 1X. I can't pull up any radar. I got nothing. That'll just spin all day long. I guess we'll just have to use our eyes.
Yep, use our feelings. Yeah, look at those. Aren't those great?
Those are beautiful.
Okay.
Just as we started to finish up harvest, the storm clouds rolled in.
So we've got a little bit of a rainstorm. Perfect opportunity for us to be able to go fill out the invoices, and it's officially 8 o'clock, so that means that we've got a full-time job to do too. Come on, Wales. Come on. Come on. You got it. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Go. Mr. Matt, I got some fresh tomatoes.
Wonderful.
So, slicer's different size. Does he want any of the paste size tomatoes? Do you guys want those for the plates or anything?
Sure.
Okay.
Like I said, this is at a second started tasting.
Look at that.
It's all tomato, and there's literally nothing we can't use a tomato for.
Only a couple of these I had. These are
beautiful.
Beautiful, yep. Oh, see how sweet he is? For the tomato lady, love Sean. Oh, see, he looks after his farmers and their crates. We need them all the time because we got to go back out and pick some more.